Hi guys, I'm glad we got. Welcome to the Kingdom Woman Channel. Remember, guys, my practical. Right. So yeah, I just wanted to come touch bases with y'all. I actually never went live before, so this is the first time for me. And I was having like a bunch of technical difficulties because I had to use my webcam and and get the software together and stuff like that. But yeah, I just wanted to come one go live because I never did it before. And for some reason, I was like, I should try. So here I am. And then I actually really wanted to have a conversation before I move into my next series of videos, which is February and Valentine's Day is coming up. And I wanted to be real intentional about talking about love this month. I wanted to focus on love this month. And yeah, I wanted to emphasize it because the Bible tells us that in the last days there will be less love in the world. Love will grow cold, and people will be more selfish and self-centered, and just worried about money and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. I just think if we have the prophecy, then we also have the power to speak life into negative situations. But to me, when I read the Bible, to me the Bible is just a big love story. It really is. It's a love story about God, a God who is love, who created everything else. And some things he created with their own free will, and some people use their free will to do evil. And he still loves us in those situations. It's just, he has his own standards and his own boundaries. But yeah, um, I don't know. I think we get caught up in a lot of things chasing after the Lord, primarily the blessings. I mean, when the uh, message of Jesus Christ goes forward through institutions of religion, it's typically either to scare you or to convince you that you just hit the lottery. And y'all, excuse my appearance. I wanted to go live too because I had been sick. And I had made another video and I was still sick. And I was looking a mess, in my opinion. And I'm like, it's really no point in looking cute if I can't breathe. So I was like, let me go live because until my face clear up, it's not even no point in looking cute right now. So I thought that going live was like way more practical. But yeah, it's either, we get introduced to God so we don't go to hell, so they like scare us and tell us we're gonna go to hell, or um, you chase after them because you think if you do the religious stuff, then you know what I'm saying, you can get rich or something, or he'll like bless you, and you know what I'm saying, you can do the stuff, you can pray, you can fast, and all these things that happen to you or happen for you, or you know what I'm saying, and none of those things are really true. And if we look at God like a lottery ticket or, Punisher, then we miss the whole message of of love and reconciliation and everything like that. So that's why I really wanted to talk before I go into my next series of videos because they're gonna be about love, but all of this stuff is just like general background information maybe. And just hopefully making it practical and then we can go forward from there. But yeah, so when when we are introduced to God in that type of way, then once we go after Him to find out what's real and what's fake, because that's not like the way God is presented to us initially through religion is often not a representation of who he really is. And so then we go seek him for ourselves. And we learn who he really is. And really all he is love. You know what I'm saying? And if you consider him outside of that, then there's a chance that you can miss the whole, the whole purpose and intent for everything. You know what I'm saying? And it all started with love. It started with him sending his son to die for us because he loved us. You know what I'm saying? And then we grow and mature spiritually and we get to a place where we can understand him and recognize him and know him, and then we learn about him and we learn that he loves us for real and he doesn't want to punish us and send us to hell for the stuff we do, you know, for us just being human in general. And then we learn how to love. We learn how to love. We develop a relationship with him, and that relationship teaches us what love actually is. And then, like, this webcam is wild. Like, usually I don't even be this, like, this, it's not this much stuff in my background, so I'm adjusting to, like, what's actually in the picture. Like, usually all of this is not in my picture. So anyway, so yeah, then, you know, once we learn what love is, then we can grow and mature to love him back. And then once we know how to love, then we can love other people. You know what I'm saying? But if the Bible tells us that in the last days there will be less love to go around because people are going to be selfish and self-centered and forsake their relationships with the Lord, then you know what I'm saying? The reason why, one of the many reasons why we don't want to love is going to be because we don't have that relationship with God. Because the Bible also say that if you love, it's because you know God and you have developed a relationship with Him, and then you can love. So if you forsake that relationship, or if you just look at God as a genie in a bottle or executioner or somebody that's, you know, going to punish you forever and ever and ever because you made a mistake, then you know you don't see the love. You don't see the love. I think I'm not going life. Yeah, you don't see the love. And if you don't see the love, then you miss it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't see the love from him, then how can you love other people? You know what I'm saying? If you know what I'm saying, then once you figure out how much he loves you and how special you are to him and how he sees you, you know, it helps you establish self-esteem and identity for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Then you learn to love yourself. Then you learn to love other people. But yeah, I don't want to go into my next series of videos without elaborating on all this information. Because it's all about love. Although we chase, you know, finances and stuff, I think people just do that. I think if you have a worldly mindset, then you may have a tendency to base your success. Then you may have a tendency to base your success off of how much money you have, when how much money you have is not indicative of the life of spiritual abundance that Jesus died to give you. Jesus died to give us a life of abundance, but that life of abundance comes spiritually, and that's why we prosper as our soul prospers. So yeah, so you know, it's just primarily about changing our outlook and our perspective on what we've been taught and untraining our minds from what we learned through religion You know what I'm saying? Untraining our minds from what we learn in religion and seeing the Bible through the eyes of the Lord and seeing the Bible through the eyes of the Lord. That's okay. So yeah, seeing the Bible through the eyes of the Lord and then, adjusting our mindset to see the love. Yeah. But yeah, it's really just about, it's all about love. It's all about love. If we miss the love, then we miss the message of the Bible. You know what I'm saying? We miss the fact that God is love and you know, we miss out on a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like if you seek love outside of God, you'll find love in other people. But the source of all love comes from God. So you know what I'm saying? And people are limited in their capacity to love you. So when you try to love other people, then they they hurt you and they disappoint you. You know what I'm saying? But when we go to God to love God, it's a whole different type of love. It's like pure love. It's hard to describe. You know what I'm saying? It's a pure, genuine love that no man can ever give you. Nobody can ever give you. Nobody can ever replace it because it comes from the source of love. Okay, it comes from the source of love. So yeah, this is my first time going live, but thank you. I just wanted to chat and see what it was like. So thanks for stopping by. I wanted to talk about love because God is love. And I wanted to make it practical for people because people tend to see God outside of his love. You know what I'm saying? They see him as a genie or they see him as a punisher, but really he's just love. And he's waiting for a chance and an opportunity to establish a relationship with each and every last one of us so we can experience his love. But with him being God, he doesn't force himself on us. We have to go after him if we want a relationship with him. He already sent his son and made himself available by sending his son. But then he told us to seek him in Matthew 6:33. So we actually have to seek after him if we want love. We actually have to seek after him if we want a life of abundance. We have to seek after him if we want to obtain and leverage all of the blessings that Jesus died to make available to us. So yeah, oh yeah, I was going to also touch on my experiences with love, and in another video I was going to go into where love came from, and how you go through a process of spiritual maturity to be able to love people how he commands us to be able to love your neighbor as yourself. I think it takes a level of spiritual maturity because that type of love is not available in human capacity. Like if you don't go to God, who is the source of love, to be able to have love within you that you actually get from him, like it flows from him into you and the other people. If you don't go through that process of spiritual maturity to do that, then you really don't have the capacity to love like people are telling you or like the Bible has commanded you to. So, you know, when we go through our life and we experience trauma and everything, that stops us from wanting to love and continue to love because we get hurt and then we don't want to love again. You know what I'm saying? But I had to tell somebody that the only reason why, like, I tell people I love them. I tell people I love them all the time. But I really do because once you get tapped into God who is love, then there's nothing really else that can flow from you. I guess. There's nothing else that can really flow from you but love. So then it's like really easy to tell people you love them because that's really what's on the inside of you, love. And then out of your heart comes it comes out of your mouth that you love people because you actually do. But you know what I'm saying? You don't get to a point where you can just love people and love people and love people without, getting hurt and still being willing to love. Yeah, still being willing to love. So what I had mentioned was that, you know what I'm saying, my heart is really in the condition that it's in because not because I had an easy life. Like I, I had probably more of a challenging life than most people. But you have to be willing to take your pain and your suffering and your trauma to God so that He can fix your heart. And then, once He fixes your heart, then there is no pain in there. There's no fear in there because the presence of fear within you just means that love has not been perfected on the inside of you. So there's no fear in you, there's no pain in you, and then from the process of being hurt and then, taking your hurt and pain to the Lord, then, you're more able to be loved. So yeah, or you're more able to love, and you are also more able to be loved, but then, you're able to love and be loved. So it's both. And of course, when you set off on a path to love genuinely, Satan is going to make sure that people hurt your feelings. So you don't set off on this path and don't get left unscathed. I mean, you go through things. Many are the afflictions of the righteous. So you go through things, and then you just take it to the Lord so He can help you, so He can fix it for you, and then that makes it better. But if we don't, you know what I'm saying? But if we don't do that, if we are willing to take our trauma and our hurt and our pain to the Lord so He can take it away, then we carry it on the inside of us for years until, we ask Him to take it away from us. And, then that hurt and that pain, it may manifest itself, in other ways. A lot of times we tend to walk around and pretend like we're not hurt, but we really are. And it's because we never took the time to address our trauma and address our hurt and pain with God. So, you know, if we want to be successful in uh, combating that prophecy that tells us that there will be less love to go around, because you can read that scripture and be like, wow, there's going to be less love to go around. And then you can know that God commanded us to love, and then you can pick up your cross and do like what God told you to do. You know what I'm saying? Because how are we the salt of the earth or the light, you know what I'm saying, if we don't have any love, if we don't obey the most important command, the first and the second most important command He's given us is to love. So if we don't do that, then you know what I'm saying, how can we really be the people that we claim to be? And the Bible tells us that you recognize His disciples by their love for one another. So, you know what I'm saying? If you align all those scriptures together, you know what I'm saying? It should wake you up to the fact that love is like a really important thing that we need to take into consideration, especially in the last days. And so, in my next series of videos, I'm just going to continue to elaborate on that. But It'll be with scripture and stuff. I'm just chit chatting right now. Yeah, I'm just chit chatting right now. So in my last video, oh yeah, in my last video it was just a video about compassion, and I did want to touch on that before I end this video. This video not gonna be too long, but I like the fact that I don't have to edit it. But in my last video, I touched on sin nature. Yeah, sin nature, which is completely separate from what the kingdom of darkness tries to implant within you. But what the kingdom of darkness tries to implant within you is external, but your sin nature is actually already in your flesh. So it's a internal battle that we'll always have to wrestle with as long as we're connected to our flesh. But I didn't want people to mix up the two, so that's why I wanted to reiterate on what it actually was, because they actually are completely different, and you fight them completely differently, and you have to use discernment properly in order to recognize the different and differentiate between the two. Yeah. So I think what was really important as it relates to love about that last video is recognizing the fact that we all are going through the same battles. You know what I'm saying? We all have sin within our flesh. We all have to war against uh, the stuff listed in Ephesians 6 and 12. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I think we just live in a world where it's so easy to judge people when they do stuff. But, as we grow and mature spiritually, hopefully we get to a point where we have compassion on other people, you know what I'm saying, no matter what they do. Because, everybody is not just maliciously evil, you know what I'm saying? Um, and if we've been commanded to love, we need to be able to see people through their battles and through their tests and through their trials and have compassion on them. You know what I'm saying? And lead them to lead them to a God who is love and can love them through whatever they're battling and through their mistakes and through what they did instead of being mean to people. It's 2026, y'all. We should not still be wanting to be mean to people and beating people up when they make mistakes, and you know what I'm saying? Like, if we live in a body that's full of sin, you know what I'm saying? We have the ability to take authority over it, but at the same time, there are going to be circumstances where we just have to be mature enough to take accountability for the things we've done. You know what I'm saying? Like, if nobody is ever going to be able to be perfect, at what point do we just have compassion on people and stop being mean to them because they didn't make the decisions we wanted them to make? You know what I'm saying? Now, that doesn't mean give everybody access to your life when they showed you they aren't willing to take accountability or pursue spiritual maturity, or, you know what I'm saying, when they are in alignment with where God is leading you. But I think we can be really mean sometimes without recognizing our humanity. That's always what that video was about. I think it would provide a good segue into my next series of videos, which are going to elaborate on love and what biblical love looks like. But I really wanted to make all of it practical. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times I come on here and I have scriptures and it's like a lesson and I've done all this work and all this stuff. But really, at the end of the day, none of that stuff matters if we don't know how to apply it. The scriptures don't matter if we don't know how to apply them in our everyday life. The scriptures don't matter if we don't see the Bible as a book of love, a book of love about a God who sent his son to die because he loved us so much. And now he's waiting for us to come back to him and love him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's commanded us to love him. But he's not hard to love. You know what I'm saying? He is love. He is love. Even when life gets hard, it's still not hard to love him because he delivers us out of all of our afflictions like no one else can. You know what I'm saying? He never promised us a life without afflictions. He never promised us a life without pain or without suffering. And I think some people get discouraged about their relationship with the Lord when they end up disappointed, when things don't go their way, you know. But he never told us that everything would go our way. He never told us that we wouldn't be disappointed. He never told us that people wouldn't hurt us. He said many are the afflictions of the righteous, but he would deliver us out of them all. He said he would love us and he would never leave us or forsake us. So yeah, y'all. Yeah. But honestly, you know what I'm saying? And you know, the thing about religion is a lot of people really don't understand the best course of action is not reading the Bible from the front to the back. If anything, you may want to start in the New Testament, read the whole New Testament, and even learn Revelations before you even care about what's in Exodus or Leviticus or Deuteronomy. I mean, Genesis is cool. You may want to read Genesis and then go to Matthew, but I mean, the amount of time it's going to take you and the amount of unlearning you have to do if you read the Bible front to back is counterproductive. It's really counterproductive. Like where we are in life and where we are in the timeline, it really makes more sense for you to possibly read Genesis first and then just go straight to Matthew. So that we can know, you know what I'm saying, so that we can know grace. Like we can sum the whole Old Testament up by just obeying the command to love. And people don't even recognize and understand that. Like if we debate about how valid grace is, when the New Testament tells us that we can fulfill every law in the Old Testament by obeying the command to love, like that completely obliterates any argument anybody could ever have to upholding the Old Testament today. So you could just read Genesis and be like, oh yeah, I could obey the command to love and then go straight to Matthew. But yeah, so all of it really has a lot to do with love. And I look forward to people God is going to raise up who are also going to be proponents of the command to love and looking at things differently. You know what I'm saying? With fresh eyes and a new perspective, new wine and new wineskins. Uh, so I think these people are going to be key in pushing the body as a whole into where it should be because we're as far as being a mature body, we're a little bit behind in the timeline from where we should be as far as spiritual maturity goes. But Um, yeah, I think it has a lot to do with being transformed by renewing your mind. Putting away religion, putting away the Old Testament. Not that we don't need to acknowledge the Old Testament, but like I said, it's already been fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? Like everything in the Old Testament has already been fulfilled. And if we actually wanted to fulfill the Old Testament in any capacity, then the New Testament tells us that all we have to do is obey the command to love. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of being transformed by renewing our minds and changing the way we think about the Bible, about our relationship with God, about what we know or what we knew to be true that will help make the world a better place. But yeah, I think that's it. I have like one viewer. One viewer. I think that's it. Did you have any questions? Or get off? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I think if we just can get to a place where we recognize that the Bible is a book of love, it's just a big love story. I think people have the ability to weaponize it because it's God, you know what I'm saying? Anything good can be weaponized. But the Bible is just a big love story. It's just a book about love. And the world will be a better place as soon as we see it that way. Then He allow us to get in alignment and be who He created us to be in Him, which, just means people who actually obey the command to love, pass our hurt and our pain and trauma, because our command to love is also tied to the fact that many afflictions will experience many afflictions, as God's people will experience many afflictions. So, our command to love doesn't go away just because we experience afflictions. But today in mainstream society, you know what I'm saying, the world tells us to get rid of people who don't serve you or serve your purpose, or, you know, if you could just cancel people. The world tells you to cancel people. If it fits you, cancel people. You know what I'm saying? But that's not love. Maybe reestablish boundaries with people. Don't allow people who aren't willing to take accountability to continue to do the same things to you over and over and over again. That doesn't make any sense. But we still have to love people through our test and our trial. We even have to love our enemies. So it's important for us to start getting to the root cause of, you know what I'm saying, what it is on the inside of us that stops us from being people who love, when the pathway to love is plain and simple as far as the Bible is concerned. As we establish a relationship with the Lord, we get connected to Him, we are able to love because we bear His fruit. We bear His fruit. And then we love Him, we love ourselves, and then we love other people, and we love our enemies. We seek the best for other people. We unselfishly seek the best for other people. And we take our hurt and pain to God alone. We take our fears to Him. Okay, that's it. I think I said what I had to say. I just wanted to come touch on this stuff real fast. I really want to make love simple so that hopefully our minds can be transformed and we can get in alignment with the way God views it, the way He wants us to view it moving forward. All right, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks for stopping in.